Okay, welcome to the second part of Mission 6 in my playthrough of Dishonored. This is going to be showing mostly the non-lethal elimination of the Lord Regent, as well as if I can manage it, ways to kill him but not kill him, but actually kill him, as well as the torturer, and also some of the lore that can be found inside Dunwall Tower. Okay, let's go. Here's the propaganda officer we left last time. So I'm actually going to, because I'm a psychopath, we're going to kill him. For a specific reason, you'll see. Hopefully, you'll see. And the Abbey of the Everyman. The Abbey of the Everyman is the seat of religious power and inspiration for all overseers across the Empire. The order arose over the years to protect the common people from the ravages of the outsider, until the need for a central bastion of authority was deemed necessary. This imposing structure is a destination for pilgrims seeking refuge or guidance. Many mistakenly attribute the Abbey's construction to High Overseer Benjamin Holger, when it was in actuality Holger's successor John Clavering who laid the foundation. Shortly after the Abbey was completed, every overseer in the land gathered there and began a trek to White Cliff. This is the Siege of White Cliff we read about earlier. There, a great siege commenced as the overseers purged the region. This is the Rectification War. The battle raged against heretics, witches, and thralls of the outsider. Though Holger was killed in the struggle, with a spear through the eye, White Cliff was cleansed, and the ceremonial rites that followed lasted for a month, giving birth to many invocations and speeches, which were inscribed in tomes and carried back to the Abbey, where they are still revered today. So that's why the statue of Holger has that eye missing, and that's the button to open Campbell's little secret room. Excuse me. So if you kill the propaganda officer, the replacement on the loudspeaker in subsequent missions is actually Carrie Fisher sometimes. It's really odd because it's like she doesn't have many lines. It's weird that they got her just for that very specific situation. Alright, sewers beneath Dunwall. Across the generations, the aqueducts and tunnels beneath the city of Dunwall have served a variety of purposes. In the earliest days of the city's history, several primary canals were used to channel river overflow during times of flooding, and for a time it was fashionable for wealthy aristocrats to commission underground water passages, giving them access to their estates from the Wrenhaven River and its minor tributaries. Over the years, these tunnels began to interconnect, sometimes by design and sometimes by accident. So this is what I talked about in my very first video. The history of the tunnel system is rich. As every schoolchild is taught, rebels used the sewers extensively during the Morley insurrection. As discussed in popular bar songs, lovers often find privacy in some of the cleaner entry points, with fresh air brought in on the winds from the river itself. On a darker note, in addition to seeing traffic from gangs and smugglers, it is rumored that the current royal spymaster himself, Hiram Burrows, has a network of informants who know the twists and turns of the sewer system by heart. Until recent times, the older tunnels suffered from repeated collapse, creating sinkholes that occasionally consumed entire street corners. Sounds like Pittsburgh. The current system rarely suffers from such calamities since the sewers were reinforced and expanded by the city planning department during the rule of Emperor Euhorn Caldwin I. I haven't run into any of the Regent's spies down in the sewer, so not sure how accurate this is. Okay, so the easiest way to eliminate Regent is to blink over to his room, which is actually connected to the next room over by this two-way fireplace.
I remember when the Empress and I used to chat in here. We would take tea, discuss any number of things. This was my chair. Things have changed. Remember to have tea sent up later.
Let's step back a bit here so it doesn't see me.
Guard, why is this device not functioning?
My apologies, Lord Regent. The whale oil was depleted. A replacement tank is on its way, as we speak.
This is unacceptable. Must be operational at all times. I'm sure it never happened.
I always forget to use the heart on people in locations.
This is him, the Lord Regent. Before that, the Royal Spymaster. And before that still, Hiram Burrows. What secrets he knows. How I misplaced my trust. Now that I see so well, I know how truly blind I was. If the plague were to take the entire city, or flames consume it, Dunwall Tower would be the last to fall.
Might be too far away.
By obsession,
Or not.
madness, order. He must have all things in order. It was he who brought the rats. The rats brought the plague. There is no man more accursed. Disease, death, and murder. That is what Hiram Burrows, the Lord Regent, has brought us. This is him, the Lord Regent. Before that, the Royal Spymaster. And before that still, Hiram Burrows. What secrets he knows. The Lord Regent resides here, as do those who await their turn with the executioner. Though their apartments differ. He walks the floor, careful to touch each stone only once, counting. He cannot purge his mind of the thoughts. Dunwall Tower is not so tall that it can rise above the stench of death.
Why haven't they come
We
forward?
have both been here before.
Related.
The river rushed in when the barrier broke. A whole district went dark. If the plague were to take the entire city, or flames consume it, Dunwall Tower would be the last to fall.
If someone has her, why haven't they come forward? Unless it's related.
Ah. I forgot that I can't do a
Get your own squad after what happened
non-lethal
last
drop
night?
takedown in this game.
Indeed, I believe so.
Gotta do it the boring way. Think. Yeah, we read this. That is a loud clock. Alright, High Overseer. Over the centuries, the Abbey of the Ibrahimand has held its place as the dominant religion across the Isles. Not only do its adherents call it the only meaningful faith, but aside from a few tolerated variants, they castigate the followers of other religions as heretics, actively resulting in harm rather than harmony. The key component of the Abbey's health is the High Overseer, venerated by all other overseers. The women in the oracular order, and the congregations from each town and city across the empire. The High Overseer is called upon to interpret the 7 strictures and to initiate important ceremonies, such as the Fugue Feast at the end of each calendar year. Above all, the High Overseer must embody the strictures, serving as a living example of their perfection. Oh, like Campbell, huh? Okay. Upon the death of the acting High Overseer, it falls upon a council made above elder overseers to call for the Feast of Painted Kettles, the first step in the arduous process of choosing a new leader for the Abbey. I'm guessing it's going to be Barton. Okay. Lady Boyle missing. Lord Regent, our search for the missing Lady Boyle continues with limited results. No one seems to know what happened to her, though there was a rumor circulating that she left the party by boat. It seems unlikely, but in any case, the witness in question saw nothing more, so even that lead went cold. Also, it's undoubtedly not worth your time, and I hesitate to even mention it, but apparently on the night of the Boyle party, someone signed the guest book as Corvo Atano. It must be a perverse joke, surely. However, you asked to be notified of all such matters, and in truth, we never located the Royal Protector's body, so I thought it best to bring it to your attention. Sorry for troubling you with this matter. I know Lady Boyle is dear to you. Rest assured we will redouble our efforts to locate her. Captain Galloway. I assume if you didn't sign the guest book, that part would not show up. Alright, 935. Imperial Jewel Box, Confession. Dead drop. Lord Spymaster, we had a specific agreement and I planned around it. The Royal Protector wasn't part of that agreement. You assured me that she and the girl would be alone, so the price of the job just went up. Send the coin to the alternate dead drop, or you can be sure we'll come calling. Dowd. Yeah, I'm not going to try and do a Dowd voice. It's not impossible. It's impossible. Sorry. So you can see some guys on the other end there, to that room, through the fireplace. So let me just go ahead and running out of stuff to upgrade anyway, so I'll do dark vision. Okay, two guys up there. Oh, there he is. Oh. Huh? That's what I get for standing still too long. Well, I think we got everything.
Where are you? Better not be a joke. Here you are. Watch out. Somewhere around here.
If I explain, then you will see I am not at fault. My poverty eradication plan was meant to bring prosperity to the city, to rid us of those scoundrels who waste their days in filth and drink, without homes or occupations other than to beg for the coin for which the rest of us toil. And it was a simple plan. Bring the disease-bearing rats from the Pandician continent and let them take care of the poor. The plan worked perfectly at first, but the rats, it was as if they sought to undo me. They hid from the catchers and bred at a sickening rate. Soon it didn't matter. Rich, poor, all were falling sick. And then people began to ask questions. The Empress assigned me to investigate whether the rats had been imported by a foreign power. I knew the truth would come out eventually, so there was no other way than to be rid of her and take power myself. She had to die, you see. She had to die. Bringing about the death of an empress is not an easy thing. But it gave me the chance to attack the plague with some real authority. Quarantines, deportation of the sick. But there's always some idiot woman searching for her wretched lost babe, or some sniveling workman searching for his missing wife. And then quarantine is broken. But you can see how my plan should have worked. Would have worked if everyone had just followed orders.
Okay, so there's the confession. You save there. And something interesting. So in your notes section, you keep a copy of all audiographs. So here's the confession that we just listened to. But the interesting thing is, it's a different recording I mean, it's the same words, but it's like a different take of the same words.
If I explain, then you will see I am not at fault. My poverty eradication plan was meant to rid us of those scoundrels who waste their days in filth and drink without homes or occupations other than to beg for the coin for which the
You
rest
hear
of
it?
us
It's
toil.
a different take. It's very strange. I don't know why they would use two different takes, but I don't know. Just something I noticed. So that recording has actually glitched a lot. When you put the audiograph in, a lot of times it just won't play. But if you don't get to hear it, you can still hear it there in your recorded audiographs. All right, so if we go down here, we can listen to him get arrested.
What are you doing? I order you to put down your weapons. This is treason.
It's over, Hiram. Your head will roll for what you've done.
No! I'll make you rich men if you just let me go. I beg you.
You nearly destroyed this city. No amount of money will undo that. Get him ready for the walk to Coleridge Prison.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you interrupt his arrest, so he will take off and he will run, and if he makes it, he will run all the way down to the basement to the torturer's chamber. So let me see if I can get there and show what that. If you don't interrupt it, they'll just walk him out and he'll go into Coleridge, and you'll see him in Brigmore Witches. In that DLC, you'll see him in one of the cells there.
And this train needs to go to the torture. I mean, the royal interrogator.
And if you leave now,
Why do I have to take
you just leave the building. It'll just count as he was arrested, so it'll count as the non-lethal. But there's a little bit more we can do if I can do it properly. See if I can show it. It's odd that he counts on the torturer to protect him. Torture is pretty slow-witted and pretty sadistic, so I don't know, maybe they have that in common. They're sadistic. Okay, so there's the torturer beating on a dead body, and is he there? Yeah, there he is. So he's come down here and he's hiding next to the torturer, and if you can get the guards to chase you down here, the guards will become aggressive against the torturer and the regent, so they'll fight them both. So they can take both of them out, and you don't have to touch them. So you still get, if you're going for a clean hands achievement, and but you're still kind of a completionist, you can get the guards to do your dirty work and do it that way. But let's see if we can get them to chase us. Oh.
Flank him!
Okay.
Just die! Dump you in the river! Damn you!
Where's the... Oh, there he is. Okay. Now let's just get out of the way here. Oh. Well, looks like we ran out of guards. Alright, let me see if I can find some more. I usually can't get him to actually come upstairs. This is a new one. Oh. There's got to be some in here.
Rush it! What's going down?
Oh, I think I got it. Yeah. Okay, so now all the guards are attacking both of them.
Take.
they're both very strong NPCs. I think the Torturer might be the strongest in the whole game. Oh, I forgot to use the heart on the Torturer. Crap. Well. Okay, there we have it. And his dog. Alright, so we got the guards to kill the Torturer, which is a special action we'll get credit for. But we don't... It doesn't contribute to our kill count, so it's a neat little thing you can do to kind of get around things. So we didn't kill the Lord Regent, right? So if we go get this rune here in the corner at this shrine, what the outsider says to us depends on what we have done.
Here you are, Corvo, within the high walls of your enemy's stronghold. You're an unstoppable force, it seems, but also unpredictable. The Lord Regent lives, despite all he's done.
See, he doesn't live,
and
but we didn't kill him, so
no
this is the dialogue we
The
get.
last year must have been agony for such a tightly wound man, watching as the plague spiraled out of control. As people on the streets went mad and died bleeding from the eyes, knowing that it was all his fault. As you hunted down his people one by one, and finally came for him, he must have realized that all his planning was for nothing, and that must have been exquisitely terrifying. But in the end, you chose the more measured response. What will that mean?
Yes, that was the measured response, what you just saw there.
I've lived a long, long time, and these are the moments I wait for.
Oh, nice teeth. I wonder if that was intentional. Okay, there's a... Oh, dearie, dearie, down in the cellar, so dreary. Why don't you come out to see me? When you were here, we made them scream, didn't we? Come back to visit, and I'll give you another present, carved and shiny. You aren't much in the way of proper conversation, mind you, but I do love to watch you work. Come back, and I'll tell you stories. Such stories. Your dear Granny. Right, so there was some confusion about whether the torture was marked by the outsider or not. I think the final piece of information from the developers was that Greeny Rags shared her power with him, so that's why he has the same powers that Dowd's assassins have, or at least he has the pull power. So in the same way, Greeny Rags shared her powers with the torturer. Already read that, unfortunately. Very bad poetry. I think I mentioned before, the heart will tell you that, nothing in here, that the torturer, Morris Sullivan is his name, he comes from a rich family, but they're so inbred because they wanted to keep their bloodline pure or whatever, that, they married cousins multiple generations, so he's kind of large and sadistic and slow-witted, mostly because of the inbreeding. Just looking for any books that I might have missed. Loot in the trash? No. Sometimes there's loot in the trash. I'm not very good about checking, though.
over here?
No, stupid goddamn.
Just knock that guy out for... just to be safe since I'm here. Let's see. A few more books I want to find. Looting in recent months. Oh, read that back at Slackjaw's place, I think. Another key you don't need because we have the skeleton key. Weeper, identification and handling. Excerpt from notes by Dr. Galvani. Once a victim bleeds from the eyes, you cannot help them. Death is inevitable, given our current understanding of the plague. However, by following protocol, we can limit its spread. All personnel handling weepers, or those in the final stages, must consume liberal amounts of one of the available protective potions. Any of the variants will serve this purpose. Sokolov's elixir or Piero's remedy, for instance. A dose per day for the enlisted men. A dose twice daily for officers, for some reason. Distance must be maintained, either through the use of pole arms or incendiary ranged weapons, in order to avoid the parasitic stinging insects that colonize an infected host. After use, strict washing procedures must be followed with regard to washing the metal candles, transport paddocks, and the carriages used to transport the infected to one of the deportation zones, such as the flooded district. Yep, officers get twice as much for some reason. Yeah, setting those two loose took out a large number of guards. I'm surprised. Oh, not all of them, though.
Look out. We got someone skulking around.
The Academy of Natural Philosophy. Excerpt from an overview on the Academy. Squatting at the edge of Dunwall, the Academy of Natural Philosophy is an ancient educational institute bustling with young students and old philosophers, alchemists, cosmologists, and vivisectionists. The best minds from across the Isles gather there to study all of nature, including the human corpus, the celestial heavens, and the physical universe. No one is allowed inside except esteemed members and the few students accepted each year after a long and arduous application process. Those living nearby can only puzzle at the exotic shipments seen coming from the river and passing through the back doors, or wrinkle their noses at the odd smells that emerge from the smokestacks atop. Royal physician Anton Sokolov is currently head of the Academy. I thought they didn't allow vivisection. Anyway, Isle of Tivia, excerpt from a volume on Tivian geography and culture. Northernmost among the isles, Tivia is dominated by snarling mountain ranges that rise up from frozen plains. Travel between cities involves arduous treks through territory thickly infested with terrible bears and packs of hounds adapted to the climate. Despite these conditions, Tivian art, architecture, food, and fashion are ornate and complex, marked by an intricate refinement that perhaps arose as a counterpoint to the cold, harsh land itself. While people in the lower city of Kaltain share much with their nearest neighbors in Morley, most Tivians are a breed apart, shaped by generations of life in the inhospitable cold. Austere and regal, Tivians are proud of their customs, food, and history, and have little concern for the isles to the south. Except for Sokolov, apparently. But yeah, I thought Galvani had to practice vivisection in secret because it wasn't allowed at the Academy. I don't know. Slackjaw's Bottle Street Gang. Excerpt from a report on thuggish gang activities. Clavering Boulevard, leading to the office of the High Overseer is still under tight control. The city watch is stretched thin, but they have dedicated checkpoints on Clavering with associated patrols. Additionally, there's been talk of erecting some of the new Sokolov security systems to protect the streets, which is home to several persons of note, in addition to leading to several vital businesses. The adjacent streets are another matter. Bottle Street in particular and the Old Dunwall whiskey distillery are currently controlled by Slackjaw and his Bottle Street gang. Not much is known about Slackjaw, except that he has been particularly active during the plague crisis. As part of his illegal business revolves around the distribution of anti-plague elixir, the Watch has been slow in cracking down on the operation. So if you get the definitive edition, there will be a book in your room that's like kind of a mini biography of Slackjaw. Maybe I'll get the text and read it at some point. But it tells about his early life and especially his encounter with one Mike the Fish, which is pretty gruesome.
We got a prowler on the loose.
No, stupid goddamn.
I'll find you. Check under everything. I'll flush you out. I know you're here. I know you're here somewhere, scum.
When I find you, it's going to be bad.
Forever. Eyes sharp. Call out.
We know you're here. Well, you've let him get away.
Restrict an errant mind.
Alright, so here's the corner chapel.
Same body. No, for the first will direct it one way, and the second another, until they stumble into a ditch. Likewise, two contrary thoughts cannot long abide.
It's a
in
good way to
man's
move between
mind,
floors
or he will
without
become
being seen.
weak-willed and subject to any heresy.
So we can listen to
Restrict the lying tongue that is like a spark
this
in a
little
man's
catechism
mouth.
here.
It is such a little thing, yet from one spark, an entire city may burn to the ground. The father of a lie will suffer a punishment compounded by each person related. Restrict roving feet that love to trespass. They pay no heed to the boundary stones of other men's fields. They wander into foreign lands, only to return with their souls blackened by
heresy? Iniquity. I think it's iniquity. Hey, iniquity, I was right. I could be an overseer. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Alright, influences of the outsider. Brother with an extra... Wait, it's just... Oh, this is from Martin. Let's see if I can do it. Brother, with an anxious heart I responded to your letter. If your suspicion is true, I have grave misgivings about those presiding over Dunwall Tower. I have only recently resolved my disagreements with the Abbey, and it has come upon me as a surprise that some are lobbying for me to take up the mantle of High Overseer. But despite all that is going on, I hope to advise you personally in this matter. Last time you wrote, you speculated that the mute who serves as torturer within Dunwall Tower might be a follower of the outsider. He has an odd countenance, his tongue is twisted and he cannot speak, and a wolfhound follows him about. Add to this the incomprehensible groaning and the litany of repeated whispers you hear coming from his chambers at night, and it seems certain. At first I find it hard to believe. How could one I admire so, such as the Lord Regent, allow this to go unchecked within his own house? Surely he must respect the 7 strictures. But now I see the pieces arranged before me. I must tell you, it aligns with a vision experienced by one of our sisters from the oracular sect. Coming to me in the night, she spoke. Silence inflicts pain, and a hound's shadow follows the puppet of the outsider. Your position at the tower has been of great use to our order, and there is no shame in reporting back to me. You are an overseer, first and foremost, and it is your sole duty to protect the world of men from the malevolent influences of the outsider. Tell no others of this and await my instructions. I must wonder how high up into Dunwall Tower this corruption has spread. Martin. So you see Martin kind of manipulating some of the underlings in order to get a better position when it comes time to move against the Regent, I suppose.
Huh? Assassin!
Uh-oh, fight music. Where is it coming from?
It's going to be bad.
Ah.
Stay hidden forever.
Oh, can't believe that. Made me waste 2 bolts.
Oh, find you. I know you're here. Got you now.
Mostly non-lethal. It's a mostly non-lethal playthrough.
Here you are.
You see some gamers complain about, oh,
Got you now.
if I kill people, I'll get the bad ending. It's not the bad ending, it's the high chaos ending, but like, oh, I have to play the game by not playing the game? No, you have to kill like 20% of all NPCs to get high chaos. You have to actively try. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the... Alright, the Whalers. Excerpt from a journalist report on organized crime activity. One gentleman of advanced age swore that his brother had been taken by the Whalers, a notorious gang associated with a man called Dowd. According to Peter Mansfield, his brother Radolf was proud of working with the Royal Spymaster's Responsible Citizens Group. Feeling no shame in reporting on what he perceived as shady dealings by his rivals at the fish markets. But this might have been the source of his trouble. On the 6th evening of the month of Hearths, Radolf came storming into Peter's home, white-faced and panic-stricken, claiming to have been chased by a group of ruffians wearing the leather suits and vapor masks used by the men working in the whale oil factories. Peter gave him supper and drink, sending him on his way later in the night, after which Radolf was never seen again. So it looks like Radolf and his Responsible Citizens Group pissed off the wrong people, and they hired the Whalers to take him out. It's one of my favorite moves, the drop down and choke out from behind. Okay, we come to Jessamine's secret room.
I know that one day you'll be grown up, and I wonder what you'll remember of these years. Will you recall your time as a child with fondness? Or were there too many caretakers? Formal dinners and lessons about boring old history. Maybe the precious hours we spent together will shine brighter. Time captured now and then with your mother and with Corvo, who was always close to my heart. I hope the season of rats and plague will be nothing more than a passing shadow on your early memories. A crisis come and past, weathered by your mother and her advisors. You'll sit on the throne someday, and will do well, I hope. It's a tricky life, full of responsibility and peril. It was not your choice to be the daughter of an empress, but I believe you'll rise to the challenge. Stay good-hearted, Emily. Keep drawing and telling stories, and only share your power with those you truly trust.
Empress to Corvo. Corvo, I have missed you while you've been away. If I could trust anyone else with these matters, I would gladly send them so you could remain close. But there is no one else. The plague has taken so many. The spy master was right to insist that I send you. When you are away, every day seems a heavy burden. Even simple tasks seem worrisome. Emily is difficult to manage, and the great troubles of the city, the conflict and the plague, all seem insurmountable. But when you are near, it is different. My heart is at peace. Kind of a shorter version of the opening lines of the game. So in the second game, there's a tunnel behind there leading up to the safe room. So don't know if it's supposed to already be there but hidden, or if it hasn't been built yet. Alright, so up on the third floor, we can visit General Tobias's rooms. I think this is his bedroom. Yeah, it's a key to Regent's chamber. And what book is it? Daughter of Tivia. No, definitely already read that. Okay, and this is his, I guess this is his office, and the other place was his bedroom. The Royal Spymaster. Excerpt from Historical Record of Government Positions and Ranks. It is said that the office of the Royal Spymaster has existed for as long as there have been emperors and empresses. However, in the earliest days of the Empire, this position existed in secrecy. Only after the Morley insurrection was the position publicly acknowledged, due to the tremendous role that the acting Spymaster played in quelling the rebellion. Originally, members of the military or officers of the City Watch were advocated for the role, chosen by the Admiralty. In recent years, the outgoing Spymaster has made recommendations on his replacement from the small cadre of espionage agents serving him. In this way, continuity is preserved since many of the covert projects undertaken by the government are not committed to writing, only communicated in whispers behind secure doors. This leads to the most common critique of the office of the Royal Spymaster, that actions are taken and deeds are committed that even the Emperor or Empress is not aware of. This lack of oversight or accountability is a commonly debated topic among the parliamentary sessions, but those who hold the position of Royal Spymaster insist that in order to function, the role must exist outside existing bureaucracy or law. Well, at least they're debating it. Not like in Congress, right? Concerns about the Royal Interrogator. General Tobias, I have to press you again, sir. The torture has been coming into the barracks at night. Last night, Corporal Huso woke to find the freak leering at him in the dark. Other men have reported that personal items have gone missing, with odd things left in their place. Sanders said he found a bunch of teeth wrapped up in his handkerchief. Teeth! And Bilson found 3 pointed rat heads in a string in his shaving kit. Whatever this is, it has to stop. The men are rattled, and I don't know how long I can keep them from going into that bastard's room and beating him to death in his sleep. I don't care what you call him, executioner, torturer, royal interrogator, or bat-faced troll. He's got to stay out of the barracks. First Commander Gregory. So you can see the source of the aggression between the guards and the torturer. The Tower of Dunwall. Excerpt on a historical examination of Dunwall Tower. For over a century, Dunwall Tower has been the capital of the Isle of Bristol, and the seat of power across all the isles of the Empire. Rulers have come and gone, each adding something to the structure: gardens, observatories, new walls, pools, and specialized interior chambers to suit their needs and whims. Dunwall Tower has withstood numerous wars, several large-scale fires, and the collapse and rebuilding of the northern wing. With Tivia and Serkonos joining the Empire first, it was Morley that resisted longest. Some of the conflicts that arose also necessitated the further fortification of the tower. Repeated assassination attempts near the end of the conflict with Morley resulted in the creation of the Royal Protector position, with each ruler choosing his or her own Royal Protector after careful consideration. Failed Experiments by Piero. Yeah, we already read this. Interesting that it's here. I wonder... Maybe the Regent was trying to find a replacement for Sokolov after he got kidnapped and he was considering Piero for the job.
I know you're here.
Yeah, good for you.
Someone get over here. He's here.
The Empress and the Empty Set. Here's the one painting in this mission. Empress Jessamine Calduin, excerpt from a book on the late Empress. Many of those who lived through her reign will weep until the end of their lives over the pale beauty with the piercing eyes, and the foul end she met at the hands of her own twisted servant and protector. In her father's day, the Calduins were thrust into the limelight despite their distance to the throne, when the former dynasty provided no heirs. A prosperous age followed the emperor, but his daughter would have different luck. During her short life, political intrigue and minor conflicts created cracks in the empire, undermining unity across the isles. The rat plague, however, was a terror for which neither Empress Calduin nor any other living being was prepared. Okay, so we can go back up to the safe room that showed at the end of the last video. Again, if you're a completionist, you might want to grab that last room that's up there.
Down! Guards, to me! Watch out! Fire it!
And I am doing really bad at stealth this mission. I don't know.
I know you're here somewhere, scum. Okay, now I hear you. When I find you,
Watch it! Check out. A promotion for the...
And there's General Tobias. So yeah, there are only two army officers in the whole franchise, or in the first, at least in the first part. It's General Tobias and then General Turnbull in Knife of Dunwall. I think Turnbull might have a couple underlings, but they're the only two named army officers, so they were the Red Jackets. But in this case, they're still in command of the City Watch when it comes to certain things like the security in the tower. There's that room. Losing support. Lord Regent. Since we've lost the financial support of the Boyle family, things are dire and we've had to make major cuts. The patrol boats stationed in the Wrenhaven River around the tower have been redeployed to North Bank to protect the few food shipments still trickling in from the farmlands outside Dunwall. Sir, I'm warning you now. This means that the approach to the tower from through Waterlock is now exposed. It's unlikely that an attack would come from the river, but I know how you worry. Ironically, there's one thing working in our favor. Since the Waterlock malfunctioned last month, that idiot who maintains the moat flow controls hasn't been able to repair it. And with Sokolov missing, no one else is sure how to get the blasted thing working again. So anyone conducting an assault from the river would have to climb up the pipes in the Waterlock, which is hard to imagine. General Tobias. That's not that hard to imagine. We did it. Of course, we had a little help. I don't think... No, this doesn't function from this end. These things are ridiculously tough. Okay, so you may notice that so this safe room here, in the second game, this gets all converted into the throne room. So when you open the game in Dishonored 2, this has become the throne room. And it's weird though, because like, why would you put the throne room on the roof? I mean, I guess it's more secure, but it makes it really hard for people to come and go. There's only the stairway and the And I guess they put it in an elevator. But it's just a weird spot for a throne room. I don't know. So a throne room would be about here, and then these rooms back here become the rooms behind it, and this becomes where the stairway goes up to the royal bedchamber. But yeah, it's weird because in the beginning of the second game, you see these clockwork soldiers come in here, and I'm wondering, how did they get up on the roof? I don't think there's any more loot. No. And you can't escape this way. If you don't want to go back down through the tower, you can just jump off there and land in the water. But, let's see, anything else I want to show?
Curfew will be treated as hostile. The Lord Regent bids each and every citizen of Dunwall a pleasant night.
Remember when the Empress and I used to chat in here? Huh? We would take tea. Discuss any number of things.
Okay, so if you kill the Regent and then go down to the
Present yourself. Don't make me find you. Hit the alarm.
I'm gonna find you. Whoever you kick under everything.
And this train needs to go to the torture. I mean, the royal interrogation.
Oh no. Why do I have to take it?
He's harmless, unless you're scheduled for an execution.
Sir, I've been hearing strange noises from the end of the hallway.
Okay.
Here you are, Corvo. Within the high walls of your enemy's stronghold, the scent of his blood still fresh in the air. My, how you've changed things. You know, the Lord Regent would have fought harder to protect himself, but the truth is, he knew that he deserved to die. It must have been agony for such a tightly wound man to watch as the plague spiraled out of control. As people on the streets went mad and died bleeding from the eyes. Don't worry, I'm not about to tell you that he deserved sympathy. The worst part must have been knowing that it was all his fault. As you hunted down his people one by one, and finally came for him, he must have realized that all his planning was for nothing. And that must have been exquisitely terrifying.
So that's the dialogue we get if we kill the Lord Regent. let me go back to my previous save. Oh, okay, well. Okay, I guess it didn't save for a while. That's okay. I think we can go on and get out of here. I think that's everything there was to see. Alright, so obviously I showed a couple of ways of leaving the tower, but my favorite's to jump off the roof.
What's going on there? What? I need more men.
Let's go right down here into the water. Man, they started biting me like the instant I was in the water. These fish are insane. And I've seen people go and sneak and navigate all the way back down to the waterlock. You don't really have to do that, and you can if you want. But I just like to jump off of here and take a flying leap. And then just swim back over to the boat. Sometimes if you fall long enough, you can get them to scream. Like if you fall off a cliff and right before you die, you hear Corvo scream. But if you're in the water, you can kind of get that without actually dying because you just land in the water. I wonder who voices him in these screams and grunts that you hear occasionally here. It's not Stephen Russell, I'll tell you that for sure. Oh, come on. This is the hardest part of the game. Getting out of the water. I swear. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I should edit this part out.
Is it all done?
It is all done.
You ready to go back to the Hound Pits?
Yep. The time of the Lord Regent has ended.
All right, let's go.
Yep. Okay. Only five hostiles. Still a little chaos. I actually did get all the runes and all the paintings, the one painting, but I reloaded, so it should show where most of the stuff is. Alright, that'll do it. Thanks a lot.